The version of you that never sleeps in, never skips training, never wastes time. There's a version of you who never fails. It is waiting for you. Genuinely ask yourself a question, you at home. If you had done those things for the last 2 years, you never skipped a training, you never wasted time, you never scrolled TikTok, you never sat aimlessly on the internet typing in garbage, never played video games, you never wasted time. You never skipped training, you were training every single day. You never slept in, you were never lazy. There's this version of you. Imagine the person you would be. Genuinely imagine what you would look like. Imagine where you would live. Imagine the car you would drive. Imagine how much your woman would respect you. Imagine the love you would see in her eyes when she looks at you with adoration like a king. Imagine your existence. That person is waiting for you, and the only thing that's stopping you from being that person is your monumental laziness. You can have it. The universe is very giving. It will give you anything you work for. I've never seen somebody try for something with all of their might and not get it. The only people who do not have the things they want are the people who do not try for them. I've never seen a person wake up and say, my only dedication in life is to solve a Rubik's Cube and fail. You are not stupid. You are not incompetent. You are lazy and arrogant. It's extremely important you understand that that person is waiting for you, and you are declining that version of yourself. In the multiverse, in the many different versions of the universe that exist, there is a version of you that does those exact things, and he is a greater person than you can even fathom. You can transform yourself into that guy. You can be a top G. That's exactly what I did. I knew who I was going to have to end up being before I became that person. My brother and I are not from rich families. We are not from advantaged beginnings, but I knew I had to be a big, strong, fighting billionaire. That's what I knew I had to be. Discipline is the key to success.
A lot of people who are afraid to do something like professional fighting imagine that the fighters are not afraid, which is not true. True bravery is to be afraid and do it anyway. If you're not afraid, you're not being brave. It's easy to do something you're not afraid of doing. Well, then you're not a brave person in the first place. If there's something wrong with you in your head and you're psychopathic and you can get in the octagon for essentially a fight to the death, with a man who has dedicated his life to being good at fighting to the death, and you have no nerves whatsoever, then there's something wrong with you and you're not brave, you're an idiot.
Yeah.
Fighters are afraid, but we do it anyway. And I think that's a good mantra for life, to be afraid, but do it anyway. That's the whole point of life. That's how you're gonna get most things done, whether it's business or anything else. And you become very good with nerves, and you become very good with a poker face, and you become very good at doing the things you need to do regardless of how you feel at the time. You may feel intimidated, or you may feel nervous, or you may have a bad day, you may have a cold, you may be tired, who knows? But you have to fight on that day at that time. It's show time, so it has to be done.
Right.
And I think it's a good mantra for life overall, and you just have to poker face it and act the way you're supposed to act regardless of how you feel. And I think that's the true masculine imperative anyways. And aren't men supposed to go through life doing what they're supposed to do because it needs to be done, as opposed to doing what they feel like doing? And I think one of the biggest problems with the world today is that men keep talking about how they feel. There's not a single man around me who says, I feel. Like, I live with guys and we have this big house and we're all having fun all the time. And I'm trying to think of a man around me who says, I feel. Because nobody cares. Why would I care how you feel? Why would life care how you feel? Society doesn't care how men feel. So if nobody cares how men feel, why do they care how they feel? You wake up and you have a list of things that need to be done. You're either going to do them or you're going to make excuses. And how you feel has no bearing on that list. The list must be completed irregardless of how you feel. So why are we even putting importance on those feelings? I think if you learn to ignore feelings early on, you can learn to ignore pain and many other things. And I think that's the best way a man should be. I think that's how you become brutally competent and competitive.
And you live your life by your values, not your feelings per se. Yeah.
Well, yeah, absolutely. And your values are going to come with duties and tasks, right? If you have values, whatever they are, then you're going to have to sustain those values. You can't sit, well, some people do. I said you can't, but some people do exactly this. They say, I value X, but they won't work to support X, or they won't work to prove X. If you don't work for something, or you're not prepared to suffer or struggle for something, then you don't love it and you don't believe in it anyway. If you love a woman, you'll struggle to keep her.
Right.
If you love a country, you'll struggle to defend it. If you love a sport
or a business,
you're going to work for it. Right. If you're not working for it, then you don't love it anyway. So the values come with obligations, and those obligations are to fulfill your duty irregardless of how you feel. And there's a lot of men out there, especially in the world today, who only want to do things because they feel a certain way, not understanding that that doesn't make them competitive anymore. The biggest question I get asked all the time is, hey, I lack motivation. And It's an annoying question to me because so do I sometimes. I don't always feel motivated to go to the gym. I don't always feel motivated to work. I don't always feel motivated to do what I need to do, but I do it anyway. It's called discipline.
Yeah.
And if you're going to wake up every day and lack the motivation to do what should be done and compete against people who will do it irregardless of how they feel, you're going to perpetually and forever lose. In fact, it makes you a child to even wake up and say, when you're asking someone for motivation, what you're effectively doing is saying, make me want to do it. Please make me want to do it. I don't want to do it. Make me want to. No, you have to do it. Or you can stay a fucking loser. You have to be good enough on your worst day to beat your opponent on his best day. On the day he feels motivated and gets out of bed and wants to fight and he's raring to go and he's on the top of his game, and you feel the absolute opposite. You want to lay in bed, you don't want to move, you don't want to go anywhere, but you have to get up and have to fight this man. You have to be good enough to beat him anyway. You have to be that good. Life often gives you chances and you get one shot. You don't get to replay them, you don't get to rerun them. Even the ones that you do get to rerun, you do get to replay. I guarantee if you pulled it off first time every time, your life would be completely different than if you pulled it off on the second time every time. It'd be a different trajectory. There'd be no failure in the mix. The air wouldn't be stained with the stench of your inadequacy. You must be that good. That no matter what happens in life, even when the Matrix attacks you, even when you get curveballed, you put on a nice suit, you pull out some money from somewhere, put on a diamond watch, and pull it off. You have to be that guy. And the way you're going to do that is by training. You have to practice. And you have to be held accountable amongst other men who are extremely capable in all realms. You can't be hanging around with losers because losers will allow you to lose. You need to be hanging around with winners because winners will not allow you to lose. We hate losers. We don't even like them around us. They stain our air. Train harder.